Often neglected, nowadays sous vide or vacuum cooking is a guarantee of quality and flavor. All the great chefs and all the best establishments have adopted and, above all, learned how to make the best of this tool, this method of working, through ongoing research into innovation in terms of subtle flavors and tender produce. The sous vide method adds profitability, quality, and hygiene. In order to produce a quality output, the standard equipment required comprises a sous vide machine with preset programs designed to meet the different sous vide requirements, such as a 99% vacuum or extra time, degassing, partial vacuum, and controlling the boiling point inside food pouches. A precision mixed bain-marie, where a pump is used to mix the water in order to obtain an accuracy to within 1/10 of a degree, thus producing the meat coloration required. We will use a steam oven when cooking at high temperatures, as in the case of confits or vegetables. A flash refrigeration cell used to cool foods down to -36 degrees after cooking and before bagging. This equipment, which is, when all said and done, easy to use, allows you to cook in batches, reducing workstation cleaning time, enabling you to bulk buy, saving meat weight loss by 20% compared with traditional cooking methods, and significantly improving hygiene. Sous vide of vacuum cooking keeps our products away from ambient contamination and prevents the proliferation of aerobic bacteria, flora, etc. The value of cooking meat using the sous vide method lies in the end flavor and in tenderness that would be impossible with traditional cooking approaches. We need to trim and remove the fat from the meat a little more thoroughly than in the case of traditional cooking, because a temperature that is low or just right will cause fat to melt less than when cooked at high temperatures. The second step consists in searing and browning the meat fast at high temperatures so that it does not toughen but produces the Maillard reaction that caramelizes the sugar found in meat in order to enhance its flavor and give it a crusty finish without being overcooked. We must not forget that sous vide cooking does not call for seasoning using large amounts of salt, pepper, and other condiments. Just a pinch is quite enough. Once seared, the meat is placed in the flash refrigeration cell for 5 minutes. The meat is then bagged, ready for vacuum cooking. A tip to ensure that the meat juices stay inside the meat, we recommend using a shrink food pouch that then has to be plunged into boiling water. The pouch is then returned to the refrigerator for a few minutes before being wiped dry. Neovid adhesive is then applied in order to position the temperature probe while maintaining a sealed food pouch. Once the probe is in place, the item is placed in the bain-marie in the oven at a temperature of 57 degrees until the core of the item reaches this temperature, indicated by the probe. As soon as that temperature has been reached, we remove the probe, gently wipe the meat with absorbent paper, and pan glaze it to give it color and a crusty finish without becoming overcooked. Then all that remains is to plate up. Regarding duck breasts, we need to trim our meat and score the skin so that it releases as much fat as possible. The second step consists in quickly searing the meat to ensure that it releases the fat, and then turn it over to thoroughly sear the top and give it a good coloration. Season at the end of the cooking period. After being sealed, the meat goes through the flash refrigeration cell for 5 minutes. The duck breasts are then bagged up before being vacuum cooked and monitored by a neovid probe. The food pouches are then placed in a bain-marie at 57 degrees. As soon as that temperature has been reached, we remove the probe, gently wipe the duck breasts with absorbent paper, and pan glaze them to give them color and a crusty finish without becoming overcooked. Then all that remains is to plate up. Bon appétit! When cooking fish, the advantage of the sous vide method consists in pre-cooked portions that are perfectly moist, providing that the core temperature does not exceed 55 degrees during browning and cooking. The fish needs to be browned on the skin side and seasoned. After being browned, the fish goes through the flash refrigeration cell. The fish is then bagged up before being vacuum cooked and monitored by a neovid probe. A useful tip consists in placing a water-filled pouch on our fish portions in order to keep them still when they are brought back to atmospheric pressure. We always prefer relatively thick portions of bass, cod, or monkfish. We need to take particular care not to extend the time the fish spends in the bain-marie beyond the actual cooking time to prevent it from disgorging albumin. These portions can be brought back up to temperature in the bain-marie, gently wiped with absorbent paper, and pan glazed for a crisp and brown skin. Vacuum cooking vegetables preserves their vitamins, flavors, aromas, and color. They will never be soggy because they cook in their own juices. The secret here is to cut vegetables in same-size pieces for even cooking. Once the vegetables have been seasoned and vacuum packed, they are cooked in a steam oven, and cooking is checked by touch. We must do our best to produce extremely flat pouches for quick cooking and bringing back up to temperature. The major classics are chicory, fennel, turnips, and potatoes, although all the other vegetables also produce fantastic results. Vegetables are then cooked in a bain-marie, glazed and plated up. The sous vide method is also very interesting when preparing tasty desserts and other custards. Regarding poached fruit, we need to remember that cooking time will vary significantly depending on the variety and ripeness of the fruit concerned. From vanilla egg custard through pears and wine and confit pineapple, gastro desserts to mass-produced type of desserts, a wide range of options is open to us. When preparing an egg custard, we need to degas the machine. The purpose of this operation consists in eliminating all the micro air bubbles that we have had to include. The consistency and smoothness of our custard will be unparalleled. The mixture is then vacuum packed and cooked in the steam oven at a temperature of 80 degrees for 20 minutes. Important: whatever the ingredients blended together, it is essential that they are all at the same temperature.